Welcome students to the e-learning program as suggested by AKTU. We are at week 9 and the subject is Architectural Drawing RAR 204. Today we will learn 1-point perspective. So let's begin. I would like to mention that what this lecture contains. The first thing which is in this lecture is definition. Then we will learn about the terminologies used in perspective projection. Then we will go through the drawings of 1-point perspective of simple objects, then to the 1-point perspective of complex objects, and in the end we will learn about 1-point perspective of the furnitures. So let us now understand what is a perspective projection. Perspective projection or perspective drawing is the representation of an object on a plane surface called the picture plane as it would appear to the eye when viewed from a fixed position. So when you look at the object while it is a perspective drawing, it is to be represented on a plane surface which is called as a picture plane. In the upcoming slide, I will show you a graphic representation of all the terminologies which are used in perspective projections, and herein you will come to know what is the picture plane, what is the fixed position of the station point from where you view the object. Before we begin and we have to draw the perspective projection, it is very essential to have the knowledge of the principles of orthographic projection. So now we will be learning what are the principles of orthographic projections. Now we will begin with 1-point perspective. For this, we will be discussing the definition of 1-point perspective and also important terminologies which will be used while we will be drawing the 1-point perspective. Now, what is the definition? When an object has its one or more faces parallel to the picture plane, it is called parallel perspective or also 1-point perspective as the edges converge to a single vanishing point of the parallel faces. So what does this mean? This means that while in 2-point perspective, while we were keeping the object on the picture plane, we had certain angles. In our case, as a standard point of view, we were using those angles as 30 degrees and 60 degrees. In case of 1-point perspective, the angles will be 0. So, the object will be parallel to the picture plane. Not necessarily on the picture plane, it can be behind or in the front. Also, we see that in this case, we only find to have a single vanishing point, while in 2-point perspective, there were 2 vanishing points. So this is how you see that it is different from 2-point perspective. Now, what are the important terminologies which we will be using in 1-point perspective? As learned earlier, the terminologies used in 1-point perspective are also more or less similar to 2-point perspective. So we would like to brush up what we have read earlier. The first point is station point, which is also called as SP. As you all know, station point is the point where an observer looks at the object or view the object. So here if you see, this is the station point in this picture from where an observer is viewing an object. Here in this case the object is not available, but if you see, the object can be somewhere behind the picture plane or in the front. So virtually an object can lie somewhere in the space and from here the observer can view it. Now the second thing which we have to learn is vanishing point. As I have told you, in 1-point perspective, we have single vanishing point which will be lying somewhere on the picture plane. Where will be the we will figure out where can be the positioning of vanishing points in our case. So, the third point which is very important is the ground line. You see, when the observer is standing here, it is standing on a plane, which is somewhere this one, which is called as the ground plane. The ground plane intersects the picture plane is called the ground line. So this is the line somewhere on the ground plane which intersects the picture plane and is the GL, which is used in our drawing terminologies. Now the next point which we will talk about is picture plane, which is the most important terminologies used in any kind of perspective. Picture plane is basically the plane where the image of the object is formed. In the figure you see that this plane provided here is the picture plane. You also look here, this is designated as picture plane PP. So whenever an object has its image, it is always seen on the picture plane. Now the eye levels. If you talk about the eye levels, we have three different eye levels used in perspective. The first one is the bird's eye view, from where we see the object from the top. The second is the human eye view, from where we see the object from the human eye height. The third is the worm's eye view or the ant's eye view, from where we see the object with the perspective of an ant or a worm looking at the object. So somewhere the object is seen from the ground. Now let us have an example done so that we can understand that how to create a one-point perspective. For such case, I will begin with the simple blocks. I'll be taking a cuboid and with three different eye views, I'll be explaining you how a one point can be created. So for this case, I'll draw a line which is my picture plane, also called as PP. Here I'll have the plan of my object. As I told you, the plan of the object is not making any angle with the picture plane. It should be parallel to the picture plane. So here it is. Now I will have a point which is called as the station point. Here comes the picture that why am I not taking the station point in the center? The reason behind is that if I take the center point as the station point, I may not be able to view the sides of the object. For this reason, I have taken it at some level away from the object, whether in the left or in the right. So in my case, I am taking it in the left side. You can anyways have it in the right direction also. Now this is the point which is called as station point. Here I have had it. Now I will join the object from all 4 points. Now in this case I have joined this, now this point, and now the another third point. After joining all of them, now I will draw the line which is my ground line, also called as GL. As now I have to begin with the one point perspective of the object, I need to have the vanishing point. How to decide where should be the position of the vanishing point? So this also can be whether in the left or right of my object, and I took it directly right away, drop down the station point. So this is the line where I will have my eye level, and I had my vanishing point here, and this eye level is called as bird's eye view, as my vanishing point or my eye level is above the object. Now I will take the projections of the object and simply I will take all its corners, drop down below. So it had two corners which were touching the picture plane. So I extended both of them to the ground line. Also the third point, which was joining the station point, as it was the third point which I wanted. So I joined this with picture station point, and where it cuts the picture plane, I took that point and I also extended this point till the ground line. Now I have created the elevation here. in my ground line, and now I will connect the points to the vanishing points. I have connected all the 3 points to the vanishing point. Now I want the length of the cuboid, wherein I see that this point is to be mentioned on my 1 point. So this line was already extended till the ground line. Here I see that this is the line which is the length of my cuboid. And also this line has to be straight away joined so as to get the upper face of the cuboid. Now here you look at darkening the edges and also filling it with the colors, you get the cuboid in eye level of bird's eye view. In this case, we will solve the object with the eye level as human eye level. Now, as we have done earlier, we will have a picture plane, we will have the plan of the object, we will have the station point, then joining all the points from the plan to the station point, having the ground line, then having the vanishing point which is supposed to be in the middle of the object as we are having the eye level as human eye level. So we had the vanishing points and also mentioning the eye level as human eye level. Now I extended my points from the plan to the ground line. All the 3 points have already been extended to the ground line. I had the elevation of the object. Now I will again join all the points from my elevation to the vanishing points. Darkening the edges, I receive the cuboid at a human eye level. In the third case, we will again solve the cuboid with the eye level as worm's eye or ant's eye view. Similarly, as done in the previous questions, we will have the picture plane, we will have the plan of the object parallel to the picture plane, we will find out our station point, and then we will join all the points from the plan to the station points. We will have a ground line where object will be lying. Then we will have our vanishing point at that particular ground line. Reason being, because we are having the worm's eye view, we need to have the vanishing point at the ground level. Here, identifying the vanishing point and also the eye level, I will then extend my lines from the plan to the ground level. I have received the elevation of the object. The height of the object is whatever given in the object. We have the dimensions whichever will be given. We will follow that and we will draw the object, and then afterwards I will join the lines from the object which is in the elevation and to the vanishing point. After joining them and also the point which I have received from the upper picture plane, I have got the length of the cuboid. Here I'll darken the edges of the object and I have received the cuboid in the eye level of worm's eye view. So this was the cuboid, solving it into all the 3 eye levels. Now let us do something which is different from cuboid. Let us have another polygon. So I take pyramid. How to solve a pyramid? We will have a picture plane. Now we will have a plan of pyramid parallel to the picture plane. We will identify a station point somewhere left or right from the object. Then we will draw the lines from the picture plane in the plan to the station point. We will join all the points with the station point. Now we receive the ground line. On the ground line, we have identified our vanishing point. In this case, we will be solving the object in the worm's eye view. Now identifying the vanishing point, the eye level as worm's eye view, we will now draw the lines from the picture plane having an object to the ground line. After that, we will have the elevation. Now, because it is a pyramid, we have to have the apex of the pyramid. How to identify that? So first case, what I did is that the apex is somewhere here. I have extended the apex till the ground line where I am not aware that where will be the height of the apex in the perspective. The next step what I'll do is that I'll have the height of this cuboid. Basically what I have done is that I have created a cuboid of the height of the pyramid. Now I have joined all the points with the vanishing point and also the point of the apex, which is somewhere here. I understand that this line is basically the line where I'll find my apex. Now what I'll do is I have joined my apex with the station point and it is somewhere cutting the picture plane on this point. I will now extend this point to the ground line. What I see is that this line where I was able to receive my apex height is now intersected by the above line at point here. So I understand that this is the point where I'll receive my apex. Here I have marked a point so that I can identify the height of my apex in perspective. Now I will join it. Before joining, I would like to know that what will be the length of the pyramid which I am creating. So for this reason, I took the last line and I joined it with the station point. The point where it cut the picture plane, which is this, I have extended this point till the ground line and I have received that this will be the point which will be the length of the pyramid. I will now start joining the points with the apex, the last line, and now you see that while I have darkened the edges, I have received the pyramid. So now we will have the one point of a simple object like a hut. So as we have done earlier in the previous examples, we will follow the same methodology in this hut also. So we will begin with the picture plane. So here is the picture plane and now we'll have the plan of the hut on the picture plane, taking an angle of 0 degrees with the picture plane, which is like parallel to the picture plane. Now we have the station point somewhere down the left of the object, or you may also have it in the right. Then I will join all the points of the plan to the station point. So what we'll do next is now we'll have the ground line. On this ground line we'll have the elevation of the hut so as to have the heights. So that we can have the height of the ridge, so that we can have the heights, we will draw the elevation of the object on ground line. Now we will extend the lines from the picture plane till the ground line. So what we did is that for special points like these which are touching the picture plane, we have just extended the lines from above till the ground line. Now as we have extended the lines, we see that this is the width where our hut will fit in. Now for this, now we have to have the heights. So height will be taken from the elevation. So what I did is, because this line is touching, these points are touching the picture plane, I absolutely understood that this will have the true height. So for that reason what I did is that I took the elevation directly in the perspective view. Now what I'll do is that I'll have the eye level line, have the point for vanishing point here, and I will have the eye level as bird's eye view. Now I will join all the points from the elevation here in the perspective, this and this, with the vanishing points. After this, I understand that I have to have the length of the hut. So how do I acquire that? Here is the point which is the last line point of the hut, which is the length. So I just joined this line simply with the station point, the point where it cut with the picture plane. I extended this line downward till the ground line, or maybe where the vanishing points, lines of the vanishing point exist. So here I got the points which are intersecting the vanishing points. So now after darkening the edges, I received the hut. If you see from where I have had the ridge line, is that this was the point where I extended the line till the vanishing point, and I had to add the length. For this, I simply joined this line with the station point, extended this line, and where it cut was the point I received for the height of the ridge. And then I joined this point with this point, and I have received a hut. So this was the 1 point perspective of a hut. Now we will begin with the little bit of a complex object herein, where we will see that it is a combination of two objects, and there is a column and there is also a slab all above each other. So here what will be the problem is that earlier what all objects you were seeing, they were in the same plane, but in this case the planes will be different. So the slab will be outside the column, so we have to have the faces. So how we will generate the faces, how we will mark the points, how we will see that if the object is taken into two planes, how to find the points. So let's begin. So as we have done earlier, we will have a picture plane, and then we will have the plan of the object. As you see, the outside boundary is the slab, and the inside dotted line rectangle is the column. So this is the plan. Now we'll have a station point somewhere in the left and right of the object, and then we will have a ground line, and in ground line we will have the another point from where I'll take the vanishing point. So I have a eye level line, and here I have my vanishing point. In this case, I'll be taking my eye level as bird's eye view, so it will be somewhere above the object. And now I'll have my elevation. So now you understand, this part is basically the slab part, and this part is basically the column part. So these are superimposed on each other, and this is the difference. So this face and this face both are not in the same plane. So now here the problem lies how to find the points of this case. Now what we'll do is that from the plan I will extend the lines downwards to the ground line. What I'll do is, now I will have the elevation of the slab in my perspective. Why I did this? Why I had the elevation of the slab in my perspective? The reason behind is that if you see the plan, the picture plane is having only the slab points, not the column points. So it is very clear while you look at that, because of the picture plane is having the points of slab, the true height can be seen only for slab, not for the column. So as I was aware that the true height will be seen for the slab, I directly took the elevation of slab here, and I have the elevation for the column as well, but it is not darkened as it will not be in the front facade. It will be somewhere away. Now what I'll do is, after taking the elevation of the slab, I'll start joining the objects. I'll start joining the points from the object which are in the picture plane to the station point. I have joined the first point, now the another, and likewise the other points. After joining all the points, what I'll do is that from the picture plane, I'll start extracting the points and extrude them till the ground line. I'll do that for all the lines and the points I have achieved at picture plane, so that I can achieve the object. So now you see that after achieving all the lines from the picture plane, I'll start joining the points in the perspective with the vanishing point. Now because I have the true height of the slab available, so firstly I'll draw the slab. So in this case you see that this point I have started joining it with the vanishing point, and because of I am only drawing the slab part first, I'll join the points from the slab to the vanishing point. So now the second, the third and the fourth. After joining all this, I'll join the points from the column part. Now you see that I have joined the point from here, wherein I know that the column will not be lying here, but I'll have the vanishing points so that I can figure out where is the actual length from where I have to begin the column. So now you see I need to have the length of the slab. What I did is that I joined this line from the station point and I extended this line from the picture plane till the ground line. Here I received the length, and after darkening the edges of the object, I have received the slab, as you can see. Now I have to know the where the column lies. So how this line has appeared to me. What I did is that I joined these lines with the station points and I extended these lines downward. So this was the first point, the second, the third and the fourth. So I knew it that this first point, this one, will be lying on this line. So if you see, this is the line which is joining the station point and this is the line which is extending downwards. So if you see, this is the point which I have received for the first point. Now similarly, I will again receive the second point, extending the point downward, and here you see I have received the second point. And now for the third point, I have extended this point till the station point, now downwards, and I have received the third point. After darkening the edges, you see that I have received the height of the column and also where it has been placed. So darkening the edges and also coloring it gives me the complex object of the combination of slab and a column. Now, as we have had the complex objects with the combination, now we will solve a furniture. So as in for the furniture, I have taken an example of a chair. So let's see how to solve this. The methodology remains the same as I am again and again repeating it so that it fits into your mind. So we'll begin with the picture plane. This is how the picture plane is. Now the plan of the chair, which will be parallel to the picture plane. Now we'll identify a station point. Now you see that in other cases, the station point was somewhere here, here and here and here and might be here. So the position of the station point can vary according to the object you are drawing. So somewhere people ask me that why the object length is too much and also way lengthier than the actual size of the object. It is all because of the placement of the station point and also the placement of the vanishing point. So if you have a permutation combination with the station point and vanishing point, you can receive the best viewing angle and can have a best perspective. So this is where you see is the station point. Now we'll have a ground line and we'll have the line where we'll have our vanishing point. So this is where we have our vanishing point, and this eye level where we'll use is the bird's eye view for the chair. And now we'll have the elevation of the chair. If you look at, I'll join all the plan points with the station point. So one by one I'll be joining all of them. Now I've extended the points from the plan to the ground line. So, and the points which are basically touching the picture plane so that I can receive the width and the actual positions of the point. Now you see, if you see the chair from the side elevation, you notice that all the plane, all the faces of the chair are in the same plane. So if you look at that, this particular part is also in the same plane, the part on which we sit is also in the same plane, and also the two legs of the chair are also in the same plane. So for that reason, I have drawn this particular elevation in the dark intensity because all of it will lie in the same plane. Now, as I have received this, I'll start drawing the vanishing points. I will now join all my points in the perspective with the vanishing point. So now, creating the base of the chair, I have joined the base points with the vanishing points. And now if you want to have the base, you see that this is the last point of the corner of the chair. So I just joined this point already with the station point, and where it intersects the picture plane, I extended this line till the ground line, and I have received the length of the chair this way. So now I will darken, and also I'll draw a straight line from here so that I can have the exact base of the chair. So here you see that after darkening the edges, I have received the base. Now why I am not darkening whole of the bases, because I have to have the other parts of the chair as well, where I'll see that the some parts of the base will be hidden. So I'm not just joining the lines, because maybe this line here will not be actually visible. So after I draw the backrest of the chair, I'll come to know whether to draw this line or not. So I've left it for that part. Now what I'll do is I'll start coming up with the legs of the chair. So I have begun with this leg first. So I have just joined the points here to the vanishing point. Now the another leg, I have joined the points with the vanishing point. Now what I'll do is that I have to start having the points of the leg from the plan, so that I can create legs of the chair. So now in this case, you see that I have joined this point with the station point. I have made them in yellow color so that it is very clear that the legs of the points have these particular points. Now, as I have joined this line, I have received this point on the picture plane. I have extended this, and now you see that this is the width of the leg. In this case, I have darkened it, and now you can see that the first leg of the chair is developed. Coming up to the next leg of the chair, you see that this point is the second leg of the chair, where I have joined this point with the station point, and now I have joined this, extended this line to the ground line, and I have received the width of the another leg. Now I'll darken this, and I have received another leg of the chair. Now coming up to the third leg is the leg here. I have joined this line yellow color with the station point, the another leg point with the station point again in the yellow color, so it makes you easy for to understand. Now I will just simply drop down the points received on picture plane to the ground line, which are these, and then I have received them in this line, which is the line where I will receive my legs. I will now have the backrest of here. I have just joined the lines with the vanishing points, and now you see that for another this point, I have extended the lines till the station point. Why I did this? Because for the backrest, I also have these points. So for the backrest also, I need to have this point. Maybe in this case, we won't be able to see this fourth leg in the perspective view, but this point is also visible in case of backrest. So I have to have the lines extended from here. Now see, I have received these two lines. These are two lines which I have received. These came just here, intersecting at these points. And as I told you that I have not joined the last line because it was not visible. So here I have created the face, and now you can see the backrest of the chair. Now left the last leg of the chair. How we will draw is, we have already taken the projections, and now I have colored the base of the chair so that you can view it properly and understand the points. Now if you see, after joining these points which are in the red color, you have received face of the leg, which is this face has been received after extending these red lines, and this another second red line is for the purpose to have the another width of the leg. So now you see that I have created another width, and here in this manner we have. So this was all about one point perspective, drawing so many objects. Some were simple, some were complex, some had furnitures, and in the next lecture we will have another complex objects along with furniture, and also some of the one point perspective of curved surfaces. Thank you.